Don't change the channel. Don't you touch that channel. Don't change the channel. Dr. Maria will be preaching.
We are at 1 Samuel chapter 22, and I just want to read one verse, verse 17. Here beginneth the reading of God's holy word. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, turn and slay the priests of the Lord, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew that he fled and did not show it to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Lord. The word of the Lord. For the people of God, you can take your seat. Wow. Wow. Such a reverence that we desire return even to the island of Bermuda when it comes to the priests, those who serve the Lord. And so we return, keeping in mind the theme for the year, Kingdom Dynamics. And now we are in the series, Kingdom Design, the life and legacy of David. And today I want to minister from the sermon topic, blind hate. Blind hate. Blind hate. There is none so blind as him who will not see. Is it that they are blind, or is it that their soul or heart has become so darkened that all they see through a dark, veiled glass? Blind spot, turning a blind eye, blind emotions, blind rage, blindsided, blind ambitions, having blinders on, and our focus for today, blind hate. Blindness creates a distortion and an incorrect platform of how you should react. On the contrary, clarity of thought, clarity of speech is what is needed and can only be achieved when you have a clean heart. Clean heart, clean mind. Blindness is not a preferred way of existence. No, vision is the preferred way. Listen to these quotes concerning blindness. One great power of sin is that it blinds men so that they do not recognize its true character. Andrew Murray. In faith, there is enough light for those who want to believe and enough shadows to blind those who don't. Blaise Pascal. Then an anonymous writer wrote, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Ooh. Yes, church. Concerning blindness, the Bible says this. Zephaniah 1:17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Matthew 15:14, it says this, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both fall into a ditch. John 12:39-40, it reads, therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again, he hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. Mercy, is a sermon in every one of them. 1 John 2:11, it reads, but he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. Blindness is serious and even critical as you consider your next move. Today we will examine a text and see a next move based on blind hate. As we do so, let's look at the following 3 points. Point number 1, intimidation. intimidation. You can help somebody today. Point number 2, interrogation. Interrogation. And then point number 3, impetuous. Impetuous. Let's begin. Point number 1, intimidation. My enemy must be your enemy. I don't like them, so you shouldn't like them. I hate them, so you must hate them. These are the selfish, manipulative, and controlling ways of Saul and of some. This is wrong, yet because of the powerful position of King Saul, you will understand that there were those there who would be obedient to him because he was king and not because he was kind. They responded to him out of subservient obedience. I want to remind you today that Saul was no small or weak man physically. I got to remind you who Saul is. Recall this in 1 Samuel 9:2. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. Watch it now. From his shoulders and upwards, he was higher than any of the people. You can begin good. You can begin better than anyone else. Lord have mercy. Saul was tall, good looking, and he was a fighter. Yet as I look back at the introduction of Saul, I understood that in spite of all he had going for himself, he had low self-esteem. Lord Jesus, can I rebuke that monster right now? Can I rebuke that spirit right now? I rebuke the spirit of self-esteem that strikes against every good bit of character you have, that strikes against the very strength that you are. Look at this, 1 Samuel 9:21. And Saul answered and said, am I not a Benjamite, of the smallest of all the tribes of Israel? And my family the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore then speakest thou so to me? Lord have mercy. No wonder he can't remain king. Because if you can't speak life in lifeless situations, if you can't speak hope in hopeless situations, if you can't press people to go beyond where they are, that's going to be an issue. Important to know and understand this, because it helps you to follow and get why Saul is behaving the way he is. Something wrong with Saul. Something wrong. How are you, king, acting crazy? Saul has the throne, and now he must guard it, even when no one's after it. Lord, have mercy. Yeah. Listen, David will be king. David will not force this kingship. No, David is actually in relationship with Saul, and therefore he will do nothing to harm the present king, King Saul. This need to protect the throne, and that is not under attack, by the way, has caused King Saul to now have blind hatred towards he who will be king, David. Lord have mercy. Blind hate is defined as, number 1, to strongly dislike something without knowing the facts, oh Lord, or by using false information. Don't make a decision when you don't know the facts, and then you set yourself up with a mindset and refuse to back down. That's so. Number 2, not based on evidence or determined by reason. Makes no sense. Number 3, unable or unwilling to understand or discern. Sometimes you got to discern. You got to say, God, even when I don't understand something, help me to tap into what you're trying to do. All right. This is Saul towards David. It doesn't make sense. It's not right, but it's how he feels. And now this feeling. Lord have mercy. Can you imagine if a pastor, if a priest directed church according to how you feel. Can we do it according to what God has spoken? Lord have mercy. He's into his feelings. And his feelings, this is the key point. His feelings, because you always, listen, your feelings, get it now, will always be legitimate. Watch it. Watch how I say this. That's right. Your feelings will always be legitimate, even though they're not kingdom legitimate. As long as you feel it, nobody can tell you don't feel it. But I'm not going to treat anyone based on my personal feelings, because today it could be this and tomorrow it could be that. Here we have King Saul, and because he has low self-esteem and he feels, I must guard this. Ain't nobody else but me can guard this. Come on now. If God, think about it, if God gave Saul the throne, don't you know that it's not Saul who's keeping the throne? It's God that's keeping the throne. If God gave it to you, nobody can take it from you. Is that a word or what? Why are you fighting to keep something God gave to you? Lord have mercy. But let's look at this here. Verses 7 and 8, it reads, Then Saul said unto his servants that stood by him, Hear now, you Benjamites, will the son of Jesse give every one of you fields and vineyards, and make you all captains of thousands or captains of hundreds, that all of you have conspired against me, and there is none that showeth me that my son has made a league with the son of Jesse, and there is none of you that is sorrow for me, and showeth unto me that my son has stirred up my servant against me to lie in wait as at this day. What I want you to tap into is exactly that. My this, my that, I this, I that. Me, my servant, my son. Ooh. It is a foolish error to find yourself in your own emotions and trapped there and not able to see the plan of God. Oh, come on. There are those days, Sister Durant, you may not feel like doing something, but you better do it anyway. Oh, come on. How many times have you awakened on a Monday and said, I don't feel like going to work, but you better believe at 10 minutes to 9, and you stay late, but you woke up with, I don't feel like it. But then you remember, well, I do feel like paying my bills. Huh? I'm just trying to tell you something, church. You want the money. I'm trying to tell you that it will be the most dangerous thing being a spiritual person to operate according to your flesh. So, here we have with Saul the intimidation, trying to intimidate everybody. Saul will use his stature and his status to remind others that they are below him. You ain't nobody. I'm over you. You didn't come through me. I didn't know about it. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I hear. Church, please keep in mind that those listening to Saul most likely know that he had already attempted to murder David. Not only that, he went after his own son to take his life. You don't come against somebody like that openly, right? They know this, and by the way, not only do they know it, he's speaking to them with a spear. Ain't nobody coming near me with this. This tells you I'm got more power than you at this moment. What? You didn't even want me to try to do anything with this thing. But don't get deep now. Don't go higher now. Don't think you're spiritual, Pastor. You're holding a spear. Can I tell you that more than what he said, it was his disposition and what he had in his hand. This spoke volumes. He had a weapon in his hand, a spear. A spear ain't for cutting up steak, for slicing a piece of egg. Spear to take somebody out. Can I say something here, huh? You better catch this today, catch it. That there are those in your life, don't know who they are, you would, but they have as it were, a figurative spirit. Sometimes the spirit is their words. The spirit is their attitude. They're trying to take you off course. But can I encourage you to have high self-esteem, to know who you are, and to stand on what God has told you you shall do? Oh, yes. Don't be intimidated by the spirit. But look, the text. Saul is speaking to them with that very weapon in his hand. Now, church, this would caution you and I to watch the next words you speak. You know, if I'm in the army, I don't want to be in the front right now. I'm sort of like hanging in the back. I'm hanging in the back. I want to hear what the front guys are going to say. How are you going to respond? What you going to do? One spirit can only get one person at a time. I want to see what you going to say. And so he is speaking to the Benjamites. Let's talk about the Benjamites. This is who he is speaking to. Saul is speaking to he's speaking to his peeps. Benjamite, it means, the word, it means a son of the right hand. that means the hand of strength. That, watch this, even though Saul, you come from the youngest tribe, you're the right hand tribe. That when your father was getting old in age, he could call on Benjamin because he's full of strength. And where I can't move and I can't do with my right hand, Benjamin, you're my right arm. This is the mentality of who Saul should be and Saul's men should be. I repeat that Benjamin was the youngest son, and he was his own father's right hand of strength. Here, King Saul has a strong hand, and he plays it. The deck is stacked. There is no way he can lose. He basically says that they need to get in their heads that he is the one supplying their needs, and therefore they better remember that. Because that son of Jesse has nothing to give him. Oh, yeah. This is what we call a power play. Then guess who steps up to tell the story? Oh, boy. Oh, this is some story. Verse 9, it reads, then Doeg, oh, boy. You remember him? Then Doeg, the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, he's the biggest, the chiefest, remember, and said, I saw the son of Jesse coming down to Nob, to Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub. Remember him, church? He was listening in when David was in need of food and a sword and asking Ahimelech for help. Verse 10 and 11. And he inquired of the Lord for him and gave him victuals and gave him the sword of Goliath, the Philistine. Then the king sent to call Ahimelech, oh Lord, the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house, the priests that were in Nob, and they came, all of them, to the king. He sent for them. Things will not go well for the priest. The priest did watch this, a good thing out of a good heart, but he met the heartless viciousness of blind hate. You can't, when somebody's mind is set, the heart is set, you can't even give them blood. They believe what they believe. They will now be blind to everything you say and you do. The priest now, the Bible tells us, he lived in Nob. Nob, the priest. Now, Nob means high place. It is a priestly city in Benjamin, situated on some eminence or high place north near Jerusalem. Saul is willing, watch this, to go to a high place and act low. Say that again? Right in church. You ain't the first, they ain't the first. It's in the Bible, the Bible. Yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God, the Bible. In the Bible, going to a high place to act low. Glory to God. Saul is willing to go to a set apart place to tear things apart. See, when we understand, that's why we're getting in debt. When we understand what took place back then, how people acted fool in the house of God, y'all don't get shocked and hurt and take a holiday from church when things go wrong. Go and seek the Lord on your own. You got to seek the Lord, read the word. It happens. You just make sure to get yourself in the high place and lift up high praise, Lord have mercy. You know what is the antidote to somebody acting the high fool? You come in God's house. You lift up your voice. You give God praise. You magnify his name. You let God know, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm going to lift my voice. I'm going to praise you, God. I'm going to worship you, God. I'm going to love you, God. God, you're my strength. You're my refuge. You're my all. No matter what, you get to knob. Get to your high place and give God a high five. Hey, yes, God, thank you for keeping me. Yes, God, thank you for healing me. Yes, God, thank you for delivering me. Get to your high place. Here it is, you do what you're called to do in the high place. And when somebody's not feeling that high, you tell them, I'm high. I'm high enough for both of us. Huh? I need no drugs. Don't need no marry nothing. No weed, no what? I can hardly control myself when I get in the house of the Lord. Huh? I'm here to tell you. I fall in love with him. We were doing that humming earlier. Kathy, I could have went on for 5 more minutes. Heard that harmony. I said, I ain't heard this before. This is a new sound in the high place. God, what you doing? Fix it, God. Fix it, God. Fix it, God. Yeah. Glory to Jesus. Yeah. So the priest's name is Ahimelech. And he is the son of Ahai. Yeah, Ahitub. I wanted to pronounce that a lot of different ways. Ahitub. Ahitub means, my brother is good. Goodness, speaking of goodness. Okay, means my brother is good. So watch this. Ahimelech, the priest, comes from a good place, a good legacy. And this goodness is partly why he automatically helped David when David came to him. It's just his character. Jesus. Not everybody might have helped David that way, but he came to the right person who's just full of goodness. You know, his daddy was good, his mama was good, the family was good, so he just did good things. Lord have mercy. So King Saul is sending his men to a place of goodness to do evil. You know, sometimes people act like church breakups just started. I'm trying to help somebody. I'm going to take my time, put my chapstick on. You know I'm taking my time. You know, but when you can find that in a high place, you only can have so many low people. We got Saul. Saul's in trouble. He's after the priest because the priest did a good thing. Watch it now. Folks, this is when you are operating in blind hate. And blind hate results in blind actions. I didn't expect any of you to have a seeing eye, dog, because you can see. But I expect that a blind person does things that a blind person should do. I didn't expect you, Don, going. I'll be like, Dr. Woods, you saw yesterday. What are you doing this for? I'm blind. You ain't blind. There's a difference between how a blind person reacts than a seeing person. And it's really quite obvious. All right, let's look at this. Number 2, interrogation. Interrogation. Oh, wow. An intense questioning. An atmosphere of fear. A grilling. Cross-examination. You got to get this. Saul, in all his wrongness, go and cross-examine the priest. Saul, who want to kill David, chuck these javelin at him a few times. Saul, who wants to kill his son, chuck the javelin at him. But now he feels he has the right to question. I'm just showing you what blind hate will do. He has no reverence for this. The priest, a man of high ecclesiastical standing, a man who does things unto God, is now brought to a low place as he stands in front of a man who is operating in total carnality, totally in his own feelings, his own flesh. Church, this is trouble. This can have no good ending. You read this thing, you didn't have to read the next verse. You're like, this ain't going to be good. This ain't good. Ain't going to be no happily ever after her. No, ain't going to raise no stone or Ebenezer right here. Something going on right here. And some people are so spiritual, like, no, you got to have faith. So crazy. Trying to get me to think people are deep and full of themselves. Done lost his mind. Happily ever after here. 13 through 15. And Saul said unto him, look at this. Why have you conspired? I could stop at every sentence. He's already he's already made up his mind, has a conclusion of what happened. Who told him there was some conspiracy? But listen to him. Why have you conspired against me, thou and the son of Jesse, in that thou hast given him bread and a sword and hast inquired of God for him? It's like, you prayed for me, you're praying for David. People get like that. That he should rise against me to lie in wait, as at this day. Then Ahimelech answered, David going hide himself, but anyway. And Ahimelech answered the king and said, and listen to what he says. Listen. You can see him going like this. Go like this, priest. Priest. No, not that. Well, that kind of looks sharp. Yeah. He's saying like, and who is so faithful among all thy servants as David, which is the king's son? That's your son-in-law, bro. You talking about? Y'all got a seat for him right next to you at the table. Family, man. What? King's son-in-law, and goeth at thy bidding, and is honorable in thine house. Did I begin to inquire of the Lord for him? What he's saying there is, I didn't have to go to God. I didn't have to go pray about it. That's your son-in-law. You gave your daughter to him. Oh, my goodness. Be it far from me. In other words, I'm not going to question you. If you made him your son-in-law, not me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor to all the house of my father. For thy servant knew nothing of this, less or more. In other words, the priest telling the truth says, I'm innocent of what's in your mind. The priest, he explains his reason for helping David. He makes sense. He did the right thing. David was in his presence. Remember that? Yeah. David needed food. Yeah. And he needed the weapon. Yeah. Right? Remember he got the weapon? Got Goliath's sword? This a bad boy sword right there. Where you going? I never got nobody yet. See this sword right here? See, like that, how I do that? You see this sword right here? This sword carries a testimony. This sword, let me tell you what this sword reminds Saul of. David has killed his tens of thousands. I only killed a little 1,000. And so without David in the room, all his hearing is that you, priests, have sustained someone who is better than I am. Someone who has been esteemed among the people more than I am. So the problem, hear me, the problem is not with the priest. The problem is not with David. The problem is with Saul. And listen, pastor has to learn this continuously from my youth. Rather than immediately project and blame somebody else, how's it making you feel? Yeah. If you're angry, if you're bitter, if you're mean, if you're grumpy, something wrong with you. I see it. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm not going home angry. Kick the cat. I got two of them, 2 kicks. Cricket. Penelope. Slap the dog. Tinks. What in the world? They ain't done nothing. But that's sometimes, hear me, church, catch it. That's sometimes what we do. Because one person mistreats us or we're not in favor with one person, now we see through a dark veil. We don't see clearly. But I want you to see clearly, church. I want you to see the goodness of the Lord. I want you to know that God is good to you. I want you to know that he is keeping you. Oh, God has in store for you things that you cannot even utter. You cannot even understand. And all you've got to do is have faith in God. Yes. Yes. Believe it. I believe it. And so the priest explained it, made sense. He did what any priest would do. You know, if this was another person other than Saul, people would be asking, I hope you helped him, priest. You know, I saw a post this week, and I've seen it. This church, mega church, was giving money to this woman. You saw that one? Yes. Just everybody coming up. So somebody wrote, this is what churches should do. But you know, a little stir in the semen. Stir. I said, well, if I had that congregation and had my building paid off and the rest, I'd do that too. You see? People don't like him. Look, Brock. People, the real is the real. If y'all got 5,000 members, but I tell you what, then he came back. Well, I mean the heart of it. I said, then we're in like Flea. We're good. We're good. We help when we can. Don't let people put a false narrative out there and it remains unchallenged. I will challenge it. You're like, oh, Lord, semen sore. Yes, she did. People be fronting you, putting all sorts of pressure. No. Let me carry you on, because you're like, carry on, pastor. So the priest did what any priest would do. He helped the soul in need. He helped based on what he knew. That's the key. Yet, church, when you're dealing with a blind person, blind hate, your right thing will not be able to stand in that day. You do right all you want. If people see you through blindness, it ain't going to be good. Blind hate means that there will not be present rational thinking. You try to reason. Reason go out the door, caught the plane, going Africa somewhere. Reason out, going. Blind hate means that Saul sees that you kept his replacement alive. That's all that matters to him. Not his son-in-law. He's ready to send his wife to the morgue to arrange your funeral. You kept his enemy alive. That's all he sees. You spared the life of the man who Saul was trying to spare. You spared his life. I wanted to spare his life. Did the priests, the holy man's explanation, bring understanding to Saul? No. No. You enraged him more. Foolish. As Bermudian say, you're going foolish. You can't reason with a foolish person like you can't reason with a drunk person. You tell a drunk person, the best thing for you to do is walk straight. He was straight. He was straight. Anything I want, I could just, I'm straight. You didn't see. You can't reason with a drunk person. Drunk person don't see themselves as drunk and irresponsible. They see him as taking a slight little holiday and having a little bit. I got a few witnesses in here. Nobody wants to be. I ain't looking at nobody. Nobody wants to be in a bar. Sing yourself 3 keys in one song. Sing gospel songs at the bar. Try to save yourself at the bar. Then when you get sober, you don't want nothing to do with the song. Am I talking right? I'm trying to tell you that when somebody is blinded by whatever lifestyle they're living, that is very, very difficult to rationalize with them. And so sometimes you need to step back. If not, you're going to frustrate yourself to no end. Am I talking right, church? I come against that spirit of alcohol. We're about to go into the season. That destructive spirit of alcoholism, of drinking spirits that cater to the carnal side of humanity. Oh God, deliver somebody today. Oh God, deliver somebody for their family. God, deliver somebody for their children. The children matter. Amonoshe. Yeah. So let's look at verse 16 here. It says, and the king said, look where he's going, you all. We started just right here. He's going. The king said, thou shalt surely die. It's like we're not even having a court case, a discussion. I can't take you to like the scene where it happened and show you. Oh no. Blind hate. Thou shalt surely die, Ahimelech. Thou, watch this, and all thy father's house. Let me tell you something. I thank God. I was talking to some friends of mine on Friday. I said, God, thank you for allowing me to be born in 1965. Because if I was born during slavery, you'll be reading about me. I've been hung. I would have helped them escape. Or Harriet Tubman and I, or Black Moses, we would have been hanging together. Something like that. Because I just can't take the irrational abuse of people. It makes no sense. Listen to him. I'm not only going to kill, no reason, no legitimate reason. I'm going to kill you and your family. Come on, what is he saying? I'm going to kill your legacy. I'm going to kill your hope. I have a dream, now you're going to have a nightmare. Huh? That's what it's saying. Church, this blind hate, this is what it is. This is when, if you don't get your way, like little children, take my marbles, I'm going. Give me my bongi. Give me my peewee. And that child, I knew something like that. That child would rather play marbles by themselves. Draw a circle, shoot. Now you go. Shoot. Oh, you got skills. Shoot. Go again. Shoot. I knew some people like some children. Such a bitterness, such carnality that they will refuse to listen, refuse to learn. I'm taking my marbles, I'm going. I'm taking my membership and I'm going. All the time. You didn't see that one coming in. Woo. I'll carry on. 17. And the king, listen, and the king said unto the footmen that stood by him, turn and slay the priests of the Lord. My goodness. Because their hand is also with David. And because they knew when he fled and didn't show it to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Lord. Now here's the thing with that. Because you have to, if you're a thinking person, you have to say, well, if all these servants said no, how come it still went ahead? They presented unity. They presented a strength. You see, if only one of the servants had said no, that would have been trouble. But all of them, I tell you, can I celebrate unity? That what we think is not possible with one, that we can stay the hand of the enemy, when we get together, when we work together, when we labor together, when we believe together, even a blind, hating soul will have to back down from that. But alas, yes, Brother Fox, there's always one. Always one. Every time you're looking for 100%. Every time you get near 100%, here comes the one. Oh, man, jinkoms. You know, that's what you say, jinkoms. Yeah. So let me read on before we go to the one. So the king's footmen, they wouldn't budge. And see, he ain't willing to lose all. It's like, I ain't gonna kill them. You ain't had nobody to protect me. You see? You see? Mm-hmm. All right. The footmen, they had reverence towards the servant of God. They would not lift up their hand against God's priest. They had a godly reverence that King Saul was missing. Yeah. And not only King Saul, but also Doeg, his chiefest servant. Usually your chiefest servant is you. Now watch this. Say it again another way. Usually your chiefest servant, you make sure will behave like you would. Huh? Yeah. See, some people think that all pastors want is yes people. Trust you me, I got plenty of no people. But I have the final say. But Doeg is the chiefest of the servants. He's the most trusted servant. You know, Doeg's got, it's like the deputy premier, man. It's like the assistant commissioner of police. If the police commissioner goes on holiday, he gets to lead and make decisions. You see what power can do? I'm telling you, you're more powerful when you don't want power, when you don't need power. Because power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Doeg. So when you're the chiefest servant, you just carry out whatever the chief wants you to do. You never even consider the right or the wrong of the situation. You just obey chief. 3, impetuous. Impetuous. 18 and 19. And the king said to Doeg, turn thou and fall upon the priests. And Doeg, the Edomite, so now we're looking at, God wants us to know, these are fighting murderers. They come from fight. They come from murder. So he just kicks in to his genetic makeup and says, no problem, chief. And Doeg, the Edomite, turned and he fell upon the priest. Look at this. And slew on that day 75 persons that did wear a linen ephod. We ain't even got to his family yet. All the priests, all the holy people. This man had no barrier. I feel sorry. I'm telling you, and I say this, I feel sorry for people who have no barriers when it comes to God's leaders. I ain't talking about crooked leaders. I'm talking about faithful leaders. I feel sorry for people that will say, I'll take her out. I'll take him out. No, don't touch it. Let God deal with it. God knows how to handle his own business. 19, look at this. And Nob, the city of priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women. Huh? It's terrorism. And in this case, homegrown terrorism. And yes, genocide. Both men and women, children and sucklings. Oh, did you want to stop there? No. And oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. Now, what the animals do to you? But your blind hate means anything that was living, anything that was breathing, anything that had potential of life, anything that had the potential of reproduction, I'm taking out. That's how much hate Saul had for David. Blind hate. Blind hate makes you turn on God's servants. All he's done all his life, committed to serving in the house of God, but your hate makes you feel legitimate. Wow. Impetuous, impulsive, a hothead. Hothead. Trying to rationalize a hothead. Hothead don't hurt me. He killed 85 members of the priestly family. Then the that I just mentioned. Just like God. Well, this is the part I like. I had Brody Triback laugh on this one. Just like God, there always survives one. Shabbat. Remnant. You know, out of a remnant thicket. Preach for me, preacher. Out of all the people that are destroyed, out of all, watch this, let me bring it home. Out of all the churches that won't stand against homosexuality, God will pull our remnant churches. He'll say, my word will stand. My word will survive. My word will thrive. My word will populate Bermuda. There always survives one. I love it. And his name is Abiathar. Abiathar. Can you say that? Abiathar. Abiathar, yes. You said it. See that? He's stopping you teaching. They can say it. Right? Because you got too many people. They can't read. They can read. Say Abiathar. Thank you very much. Abiathar. Verse 20. And one of the sons of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. Lord Jesus. Jesus, that's a sermon right there. Not only will you, look at this church, not only will you escape, but God will give you the proper directions. Don't go just anywhere, but go to David. I got something I need to do with David. I need to teach David something. So when you make your way of escape, find David. Come on now. Don't you understand, church? Look. If God permits you to live, he's got a plan for you. Falter, you caught that? Thank you, Sister Lamb. You can falter, you can fail. If you're still living, he's got a plan for you. Talk to your neighbor on the left, on the right. Say, he's got a plan for you. He's got a plan for you. Oh, he's got a plan for you. He's got a plan for you. Hey! He's got a plan for you. Oh, God will not keep you to take you out. God will not keep you to destroy you. God will not keep you to embarrass you. God will make sure that at the end of the day that you survive, that they survive, whoever survives, because his plan will come to fruition. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So let's look at this name, Abiathar, meaning, watch it. Abiathar, meaning, my father is great. My father is great. Think on it. God spares a son who will carry on the greatness of his father. The enemy thought he had taken you out. The enemy thought he had destroyed you good. The enemy said, there'll be no legacy. You'll never have a heritage. Your face, your name, your family, they'll be wiped off the face of the earth. But God spares a certain son who would say, my father is great. So in other words, as he would move forward in the future, he will always be remembering his father. Oh, he was treated wrong. He was killed. My family were gotten rid of. But can I tell you, I live to let you know that my father is great. God wants your legacy to testify. Yes, it's got to. That's why in the face of no matter what's going on in your family, you say, my father is great. My family is great. God, you've set us apart. God, I trained them. My God, I raised them, God. And and you get comfortable. They're coming back. They're going to line up. Oh, yeah, they are. Shamanosa. Glory to God. So God spares a son who will carry on the greatness of his father. What a legacy moment. That although his father has been murdered and is no longer on the scene, he's not seen, but God in his magnanimous mercy says, but you are. Huh? But you are. Can I tell somebody? Your brothers, your sisters, whomever may not be in the kingdom, but you are. And so therefore you carry the possibility of this legacy being one more time captivated by your family. That's why we can never give up no matter what. We can never say it can't be done. What? As long as there is life, there is hope. Oh, yes, it is. And so, church, here is what we cannot miss in all of this. That this is it. This is the big thing right here. All the time. Steal. Lies cost. We're looking back at it in Saul's day. But do you know how many people have been influenced to leave a church because of somebody else's lies? And it costs lives because your life has a godly purpose and destiny. Don't let anybody else's feelings, emotions, blind hate, soul moment, or whatever determine that you should not become who you should become in the house of God. Stay still. David, this right here is a momentous lesson for David, right? David now has Abiathar in his presence, and he realizes my lies cause lies. Let's get it right. I know we want to put it all on Saul, but David started something, didn't he? Mm-hmm. David, your lies cost lives. Ultimately, when we look at causation, David could have responded differently, like told the truth. And the outcome would have been different. Let me read 21 through 23, my final verses. And Abiathar showed David that Saul had slain the Lord's priests. And David said unto Abiathar, man, I knew it. I knew it that day when Doeg the Edomite was there, that he would surely tell Saul, watch it now, watch. This is a turning moment right here. He finally did something. Gonna take responsibility. I have occasioned the death of all the persons of thy father's house. Huh? It's my fault. He's in sorrow now. 23. I'm going to show you something. Stay here. Abide thou with me. Watch it now. This is precious right here. Fear not. I'm going to talk on it in a minute. Fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life. But, cancel it out. But, call it null and void. But, it means nothing. But with me thou shalt be in safeguard. Hold up. Last chapter, early this chapter, David was running in fear. But now, because he, watch this, has confessed his wrong, all of a sudden he has no more fear, but tells him, Ace boy, stay with me. We're going to hook it up. We're going to hook it up. Ain't nobody going to get you, ain't going to get me. We got this. I'm trying to tell you, let me tell you what this is saying, that when we finally take responsibility for what we have done, then we can turn the corner now and we can move forward and have strength. And not only that, now we can move forward and help somebody else out. David must now step in and do something, and this is why David is known for repenting. He did wrong, but will now seek to do right. He missed it then, but now he will not miss it. He now takes, oh boy, one of those words, responsibility. Because he could have easily just, Saul did what? Saul's an evil man. Go back. You lied in front of the priest. Huh? For his actions, yes, Saul is wrong, but David, you were wrong too. Get it right. What makes you great is not only your personal greatness, but the humility, Lord have mercy, the humility with which you can make your next move. In effect, your humility makes you great. When you finally say, I missed that one, all of a sudden greatness leaps up within you, because the greatest battle we will ever have is the battle against ourselves. We don't like to say, I missed it, I was wrong, I was rude, I was angry. No, somebody else's fault. But when you can say, hey, I missed it, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. All of a sudden, that's David. That's why God loved him. That's why he is a man after the heart of God. Not because he did everything right. Are you kidding me? But because when he finally knew, I missed it, he immediately repented. And every time, hear me, every time David repented, from this time to time forward, God lifted him up further in front of the people. So it's not your bigness, your attitude and all that makes you great. It's the ability to be honest in the sight of God. And God don't mind when you say, I missed that, God. God says, right, now you're going to learn it from here on out. Yes. You see, David takes responsibility because a family legacy has been majorly interrupted because of him. How major is this? It's so major that from that point on, he will no longer operate in fear. David realizes that his fear costs lives. You're afraid of something. You're not confident about something. So you want everybody else join you in that lack of confidence. Yeah. And so this is a lesson. So David decides to do things differently. Fear not. This is a new or rejuvenated mindset. And now he can actually legitimately be he can be a safeguard for somebody else. You be no safeguard for me. You can't protect your own self. Excuse me. How you going to lead somebody when you're running scared? Don't you go. The day you see me get scared and run, say, all right, right on, Pastor, check you later. Huh? Your leader, a leader, in whatever way, must have the boldness of a lion, the boldness of the Holy Ghost, the unction of the Holy Spirit, concerning those things of God, concerning those things concerning his people. Because that's when you can sit here safe. You can sit here confident. You can go home and read the scriptures and study it and see that you've not been given no lollipop message. You've been given a legacy message, something you can hold on to, something you can grow thereby, something that you can learn, that even when you look in your own family and you see weakness, you say, but out of weakness can come strength. Out of fault can come favor. Favor of God. And so now he can actually become somebody's safeguard. Because when he was running, he couldn't be anybody's safeguard. But now he's got it. Safeguard comes from the word meshmereth. Meshmereth. Guard, charge, function, obligation, service, watch, confinement, keeping, preserving. There you go. There you go, David. Yeah. Come out of the rocks, David. Safeguard. Be a protection for this man. Listen to me, church. Your past moment could have been one of bad choices. But today, oh, this is glory.
For a copy of this sermon in its entirety, please check out our bookstore at our website www.swim-international.com.